You ever meet or know someone that no matter what you say, they will always find a way to hold a different opinion? Isn't that shit annoying as hell? People who are contrarian by their very nature just effortlessly push people away and are honestly the worst. Some people will hate a popular thing just because it's popular without ever bothering to look at why it's popular in the first place. That kind of thing gets you a lot of views, but rarely many people who come to your stuff because they value your opinion. It can only get you so far because when you decide to hold the opposite opinion simply because it's different, it becomes very evident that you don't hold any strong convictions and your opinion is absolutely worthless. But I'm not typically a contrarian, so when I hold a different opinion, it's based. I'm young enough that I had never heard of Oblivion or even the Elder Scrolls series until around the time Skyrim was first announced. Please let me hold on to this. I already feel old as fuck. But holy shit. The moment I saw the first trailer, the first screenshots, hell, the first articles in Game Informer, I was sold. I'm almost positive this was one of the last times I was hyped enough to buy a game the day it was released. And this was before the days of PC gaming being as common as it is now. I didn't have Steam, and I had to do things the old-fashioned way. That meant going to GameStop and buying the damn thing. And by the way, Skyrim wasn't the last time I did this because I was let down. If you read the title of the video, you know that this isn't a video where I'm disappointed with Skyrim. If you want to see that, go check out my video talking about how fucking amazing the Oblivion remaster leveling system is. No, it was because I don't think that any other game could absolutely deliver on the hype that Skyrim did. I did everything that I could, and it didn't take me long until I tried the thing that occurs to all of us to do in these types of games.
Cold-blooded murder.
And by the fact that you clicked on this video, you likely know what that means. If you don't, glad you chose to watch something that you have no idea about. Stick around. I appreciate you. It was then that I heard about the Dark Brotherhood and followed a lead all the way to Windhelm. It wasn't long after killing an elderly woman that a courier came up to me and handed me a scroll that would open up a whole new questline to me. Call me a psychopath, but I absolutely adore assassination quests in games. Probably for similar reasons that I love hunt quests. It's the feel of tracking someone down, learning how to best approach them, and then lurking in the shadows or in plain sight until the opportunity strikes and I can sink a blade into their neck. And the Dark Brotherhood offered me just that. Out of all the faction quests, this one grabbed a hold of me and wouldn't let me go until I was the speaker for the Dawnstar Sanctuary. And even after that, the quest the Night Mother gives you after finishing the questline still soaked up so much of my playtime. I just could not get enough. The Dark Brotherhood, truly forever. I didn't care about the plot holes or inconsistent writing and really odd decisions made throughout the questline. I didn't even notice them until years later when the whole slew of YouTube videos on the topic came about. And you know what? They may be right, but I still don't care. It was some of the most fun I had in Skyrim, and that's really saying something because I have hundreds if not thousands of hours in it. But then imagine my surprise when one of my friends, who is a long-time Elder Scrolls fan, informed me that Oblivion, both on the whole and specifically the Dark Brotherhood questline, was absolutely superior in every way to the one in Skyrim. I didn't buy it. What a fool, I thought. There's no way. But you know what? Going back on the point I made earlier in the video, I wanted to see why he might think that, and was more than willing to be proven wrong. And the online consensus seemed to echo what my friend told me, so that was enough to get me to pick it up and give it a try. I am somewhat ashamed to say that I just could not get into Oblivion the same way I did Skyrim. It was too old, and there were so many quality of life changes that Skyrim made that I found it very difficult to go back and play a game as old as Oblivion, which I guess at the time was 6 years old. Fuck. Because of that, I didn't really do too much in it. I was a dumb kid, what can I say? I fucking beat it, though, fuck up. But I'm an adult now that at some point realized old games are based, actually, and I figured the remaster of Oblivion would be the best opportunity to experience this questline. And here is where the hot take, contrarian bullshit comes about. I was kinda disappointed by the Dark Brotherhood questline in Oblivion. Hang on, at least wait until after the video to string me up by my ankles. I did say that a contrarian opinion without understanding why people like it is worthless, didn't I? So let's take a look at some specific examples from the questline. I'll go over why people like these things, and then I'll tell you why I didn't particularly care for certain aspects. The first point in the game that I realized I was having trouble with the storyline was the
purification.
I'd heard of this quest and knew it was coming, but I can't lie to you, I was surprised at how difficult I found it to complete. For those of you who have not played it, the Purification is a mission where you must slaughter all of your Dark Brotherhood brothers and sisters in the Shadenhall Sanctuary where you've been operating out of. While a lot of the other guild quest lines have you jumping around to various places, the Dark Brotherhood offered a real sense of brotherhood. It's hard to feel the same way with the people in, say, the Mages Guild, because to get in, you bounce around from city to city, visiting the various guild halls to complete the initiation quests. And then you move on. Sure, there are some side quests amongst the members here and there, but nothing that makes you return to any of the halls due to a sense of it being home. The Thieves Guild is by its nature disconnected, so not much to go on there either. And don't hit me with the guild hall you get at the end of the quest line. That shit's a joke and you know it. The Shadenhall Sanctuary, on the other hand, is absolutely perfect for this. You develop a sense of belonging here. You start from nothing and gradually gain everyone's trust and get to know them. And this questline gets rid of that unique feeling for the sake of moving the story forward. That, to me, is the biggest loss from this whole thing. Now, I know that the people who like this quest and story aspect appreciate it because it's such a hard thing to do. You develop these friendships, and then you're forced to end them at the behest of one of your superiors. By the very nature of the Dark Brotherhood, it's something you should be okay with. But much like in real life, the decisions made by the higher-ups are often stupid and irrational. But to stay in their good graces, you follow commands. It's supposed to suck, but many people feel it's worth it to gain a better understanding and deeper insight into the workings of the Brotherhood. You could argue that the Sanctuary comes back to life after the questline is done, but I have no desire to come back here after I slaughtered a bunch of NPCs in cold blood that I actually really liked. Crazy as most of them were, they were entertaining, unique characters. Also, the theme of outlandish requests coming from superiors doesn't really resonate well with me, especially in the context of this game. I get enough of that shit in real life. This is supposed to be a fantasy, an escape from that. I'm not saying this because I dislike tough choices or quests in games. Hell, Mass Effect is one of my favorite game series of all time, and there are decisions I make in all of those that make me feel just a little bit icky. I think at the end of it all, what makes me the most disappointed about the Purification is just the fact that we destroy one of the most unique feeling places in the game based on NPCs alone, just to progress the story and give a sense of shock. And it hurts all the worse when you learn that it was literally pointless. The infiltrator you were trying to rid the Brotherhood of left well before you joined. For a master assassin that gives off a cold, calculating aura, Lucien Lachance proves that he makes a lot of poorly thought out decisions. More on that later. The next thing I had hyped up for me was the Summerhome Manor quest, where you are tasked with executing all the members of a house party in any way you see fit. When I walked through the door, ready to get my deception on, I was so excited for this quest. I had heard it described as one of the best in the whole game. I took my time, getting to know the guests and how they felt about each other. Finally, I lured my first victim into the basement, where she was summarily and unceremoniously sliced into ribbons. The Dark Brotherhood quests felt like a long-awaited dream come true, and I could not wait to see what was coming next. I crept back upstairs, ready to lure my next victim into their demise, hopefully planning to do some crazy dark assassin shit, where I lead someone else down to the basement so they can see the corpse before dying themselves. So color me surprised when I walked up to my next victim, and they already knew that someone was dead. In fact, everyone knew that someone was dead, despite the fact that not a soul was around when I committed the act, nor did I tell anyone. For me, this killed a large portion of the enjoyment I was hoping to receive from this quest. Now, this is where I tell you that I fully realized that this is a me thing. Even excluding the idea that this was more than likely so hyped up that it could never live up to expectations, I so heavily value stealth in situations like this, that the fact that I could do my absolute best to hide the evidence, the rest of the guests by default and automatically know someone is dead. The more I played, the more this quest started to feel like a series of disconnected little moments rather than one cohesive experience. The guests didn't seem to care much about each other, and the scripting felt a little too rigid. The party was lively enough, but it lacked a sense of real danger or suspense. I felt like I was just going through the motions, ticking off a checklist of targets. I know that people like this because of how you can toy with your victims. There are ways to kill everyone here without laying a finger on them, and most people playing this probably don't go in thinking they're going to Hitman or solid snake their way through it. But I'm a fucking nerd that takes stealth in games pretty seriously. If you've watched my video on Dishonored, not only are you absolutely a real one, thanks for sticking around, but you know that I was one unnoticed mistake off of doing a whole playthrough undetected. So while I fully contend that this is more of a me problem, I can't sit here and tell you that it didn't bum me out, and take a lot of enjoyment out of the whole quest. Alright, here it is. The part that might just be my hottest take in this whole video. After you've been working your way through dead drop contracts for a while, Lucien Lechant shows up out of nowhere and accuses you of betraying the Dark Brotherhood. You, the loyal assassin who's just been out here following orders and stacking bodies. And your reaction is probably something like, my guy? I've literally just been killing the people you told me to. What are you doing? Lucien says his dead drops have been untouched, and the contracts you've been carrying out? Yeah, those weren't legit. You've actually been wiping out members of the Black Hand, the elite leadership of the Brotherhood. And Lucien, he's being framed for it. Now, a lot of people love this twist, and I get it. It's a cool story beat. If this had been a book or a movie, I'd probably be all in. Deception, betrayal, the hunter becomes the hunted. Very gripping. But I'm not reading a book. I'm playing a video game where I signed up to be a creepy, shadow-stalking knife goblin. I was here to silently murder rich degenerates and scummy nobles with a poison apple and a flair for the dramatic, not accidentally dismantle a secret society from within. And suddenly, I'm not an assassin anymore. I'm a patsy, a tool, a pawn. To me, an assassin assassinating assassins, try saying that 5 times fast, is only compelling if that's the setup from the start. But here, it's a twist that rewrites the whole vibe of the last chunk of the questline, and not in a way that hit for me. Like, was I supposed to feel bad? I didn't know any of these people. Just like the contracts I've been carrying out before. There were names on a list. I'm a hired killer. I don't get sentimental. And in this case, I was killing other killers. Honestly, sounds like a win-win. Maybe I was supposed to feel betrayed? That's a popular read. But again, betrayed by who? I had no emotional connection to the Black Hand. Lucien is cool, sure, but after the cleansing quest, he just fucks off until the twist drops. The only Brotherhood members I did care about were in the Shadenhall Sanctuary, and I already spilled their entrails onto the ground like I was paid to do it. Wait. So, yeah, not much to get weepy about. And then the part that really breaks it for me. Lucien. This dude is supposed to be a master manipulator. Cold, calculating, always 3 steps ahead. So what does he do after this confrontation? He walks right into an obvious trap at Apple Watch Farm like some dumb NPC with his sneak stat stuck at 5. And he knows the rest of the hand are looking for him. He knows they think that he's the traitor, and yet he shows up alone at a location tied to Brotherhood activity without even bringing the one person that could maybe vouch for his innocence? That's not tragic. That's dumb. That's really dumb. And then the whole thing wraps up with this reveal that the traitor was allowed to do all this because of the Pale Lady, possibly even Sithis himself. Which, okay, cool lore moment, but for me, it just pulled me even further out of it. Suddenly, I wasn't playing an assassin doing jobs anymore. I was just a chess piece in some weird divine soap opera. Like, cool, the god of death made me kill a bunch of my coworkers. That doesn't make me feel powerful. It makes me feel like an unpaid intern at an evil temp agency. When I started this questline, I felt like a ghost in the night, a blade in the dark. By the end of it, I felt like I'd just been used. And not in a cool spy thriller kind of way, more like in a, hey, none of this was your decision and nothing you did really mattered kind of way. And that's just not the assassin fantasy that I was looking for. So where does this leave me? Is Oblivion's Dark Brotherhood questline a disappointment? In some ways, yes. It didn't quite capture the magic that Skyrim's version held for me, but that does not mean it's bad. Far from it. It has its unique charms and its own strengths. I very much like the fact that all of the early contracts have parameters you can follow to earn extra money. That is basically not present at all after a certain point, but I digress. If you're a longtime fan of the Elder Scrolls or a lover of old school RPGs, it's definitely worth your time. But if you're like me and discovered the Elder Scrolls series starting with Skyrim, be prepared for a different experience. At the end of the day, Oblivion's Dark Brotherhood quests may not be my favorite, but I can still appreciate why so many people hold them dear. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me on any of this. Or to call me a knuckle-scraping dumbass, I don't care. I'm just curious what everyone thinks. If you enjoyed this essay-style dive into Oblivion's Dark Brotherhood, be sure to leave a like. I very much like to see the kind of content my viewers like from me. Subscribe if you want to see more from me because there is so much more content on the horizon. My goal is 500 subscribers by the end of the year, and with all of your help, I think that I can complete completely destroy that gold. That said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Are you looking at my testicles, Nerifar?